I deserve to have my dreams come true. And I deserve to be the driving force to make sure that my dreams come true. Sorry, it made me a little emotional. I want this. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kayla if you're new here. And if you're coming back for another episode, one, I appreciate you. And two, you might have noticed that things have changed a little bit. I've rebranded from the Struggle Bus route to Too Late Journeys because it was important to me to make sure that everything I'm doing in regards to this channel isn't focusing on struggling. I don't believe that struggle needs to be the default, but I do believe I'm still going on adventures, and I definitely believe that it's not too late to go on a journey, hence the name Too Late Journeys. But in today's episode, I am so stinking excited and middle key terrified because this is something I have wanted to do for the better part of 9 months, and I am finally doing it. I'm so excited. Let me welcome you into my world. Welcome. I am giving myself 6 months into transforming into Mimi from Rent and performing the piece Out Tonight. Here's just a little snippet of what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know. It's a lot, but you know what? I'm here for it. And I'll just give you a little backstory, about how I got into it and why I decided to do it. But ultimately, I'm an actress. I love to act. I love to be a creative. Hence why I started this YouTube channel. I love the process of creating something, but I've never done it to my benefit. It's always been to help other people, and it's never been about what I wanted. And so me taking this time out to give myself 6 months is to showcase to myself, or to tell myself that, yo, like, you got it. And so what that it took 6 months, like, you got it. So let me tell you how I got here. You can thank YouTube. I, like so many other people, stuck in quarantine, turned to YouTube and just went down a rabbit hole. I had consumed all of the content that I wanted to watch on other platforms, and all my other creators who I do follow watched all their stuff too. So I was like, okay, like what am I supposed to do? I'm still stuck in the house. And I remembered, like, oh yeah, Hamilton was a thing. And I knew I wanted to get into it. So I went to YouTube to see if they had the soundtrack. And of course they did, and so I listened to it. My mind was blown away by the whole cast of Hamilton, but especially Renee Elise Goldsberry, aka Angelica. Like, I was like, mama is it. Mama is serving, she's singing, she's slaying. Like, when an actor impacts me, I have to go down their filmography. I have to go down the rabbit hole to figure out, like, okay, how did they get here? Not necessarily like what's their blueprint for success, but like, what were they in? Were they in the cheesy Hallmark movie? Were they in a horrible slasher? Were they in a, like, what the type of movie? Like, it's okay, you're just starting out. Like, were they in those type of movies? Because I live for the glow up. And so that's what I did. What I didn't realize was that Renee has been a part of a lot of shows for me growing up, especially Law & Order SVU. SVU has pretty much raised me, and to not remember her was like, ooh girl, I'm sorry, because you're bomb. I remember I had watched a lot of things, and I was like, oh wait, she was in Rent? I listened to the soundtrack. Like, I have been a fan of certain numbers from Rent way back when I was a teenager. And so I was like, wait, but she didn't sound like the cast recording, and that's because that's the original recording, and she did the Broadway production that was filmed. And so that's why I never made the connection. But when I went to go watch it, I was like, oh, Renee is bad. Like, Renee is a beast. Like, she's so bomb. Don't get me wrong, like, Rent in itself is an amazing piece of theater. But it was something about Out Tonight. I was like, okay, I know I have the rest of the play to watch, but I just kept going back. Just kept going back to watch it over and over again. Somewhere in my umpteenth time of watching it, something was like, you could do that. And I'm like the side eye I gave myself internally, like knows no bounds. I was like, who, where? I was like, but it just kept resonating, like you could do that. And I was like, no, I cannot. But it would haunt me, like, oh, I would think about it all the time, sleep and dream about it. And you know, when I would randomly burst into song, which I do a lot, it would be out tonight, and I'm like, okay, all right. So it's like overtaking my life, and I think I could do it, but how? Like, how in the world would I do it? I don't even know where to begin. And so that's where I started 6 months ago, was just trying to conceptualize me performing this piece. Like, what would it entail? What would it look like? How would I start? All these questions. And so for 6 months, I kind of like talked myself out of it, to be honest with you. I just kept pushing it back. Oh, I'll start next month. I'll start next week. I'll start on Monday. And it was always like that for the better part of 6 months. And then the new year hit, and we're still stuck in quarantine. And the world, my world especially, has been put on pause. And so there's no better time than right now. I always start my year by doing two things: making a vision board and doing a Daniel fast. If you follow me on IG, I have a whole breakdown of what the Daniel fast is, what it entails, and why I do it. Shameless plug, follow me on IG. One of the quotes that resonated with me in my vision board was, just be brave enough to try. And I have it pinned somewhere where I look at that literally every morning, and it stares me into my face, and she stares me in my face because she's on my vision board. And it literally says, just be brave enough to try. This is me being brave. This is me terrified yet still wanting to do it, because it means a lot. It means a lot because I have kind of like neglected myself. Okay, here's the part where Kayla gets really deep. I have a habit of championing so hard for others. I mean, like, I will put myself through whatever if it means that I can help you. And that's something I've always done. I've always been the type of person, like, if you call me and if you need me, I got you, period. But I never gave that type of loyalty, respect for myself. I don't really think there's ever been a time where I've shown up 100% for myself, and that's sad. That's like really sad to think that I will go so hard for people, but I can't even give a tenth of that to my own self. And so this year I made the decision that we're putting ourselves first, not only because of this pandemic, not only because of all that stuff, but because I deserve it. I deserve to have my dreams come true, and I deserve to be the driving force to make sure that my dreams come true. That in a nutshell. I mean, I got 26 weeks. I'll go in more in depth about all that stuff later, but it's important to me to make my dreams come true. Like, it's really important. And sorry, it made me a little emotional. I want this. I want this to quiet that little voice in the back of my head that always comes up with an excuse why I can't do something. You guys don't know how loud that voice has been pretty much all my life. And external validation is good, but internal validation is so important. And it's time to prove to the voice inside my head that's telling me that I'm not enough, that's telling me you don't look like Mimi, you don't sing like Mimi, you can't dance like Mimi, like all these negative attributes. It's time for that voice to shut up. So that's what we're doing. And in 6 months, it's gonna get done. So that's what I'm doing. I am nervous, terrified, and excited. I am excited because, again, like, this is something I've wanted all of my life. You guys don't know how long I've dreamt of performing. One of my favorite memories as a little girl is getting up on my nightstand and performing Spice Girl songs. Like, I'm one of them. You know, stop is my jam. But it's been innately in me since I was a little girl, and I've always found excuses not to go for it. And so it's something so exciting by knowing that I'm forcing myself to make my dreams come true. And that's also terrifying. Like, I'm forcing myself to make my dreams come true. Like, I'm responsible for what I put out there. I'm opening myself up to the world, and whether that be, you know, positive or negative, like, I am being vulnerable and putting myself out there, and that's terrifying for me. I am super private, Fort Knox. I can't tell you how many people know the really in-depth nature of myself, except maybe Jesus. And that's not being facetious. Like, I'm dead serious about it. Like, I am super tight-lipped, even with my closest family members, to open myself up, to have you guys see my process and see me be vulnerable and snot and cry and yell and scream. I don't do these things. And it's something so terrifying in being exposed, but there is a beauty in being exposed and being vulnerable. And so I'm leaning into the beauty more than I'm leaning into the terror. Because if I stick with the terror, I won't do it. It just won't get done. This is me being brave, but I'm not going alone. I have a team behind me, and I'm so pumped because they are amazing. Okay, like, my team is it. I have a choreographer, I have an acting coach, and I have a vocal coach. And if they want to be on camera, then, you know, I'm more than willing to showcase them, because, like I said, they're geniuses all in their own right, and I know that they got me. And I know once I told them all about what my dream was, like, their first action, their first response is, okay, bet, what we gonna do? And it's something so rewarding about that, to have a team behind me that it doesn't matter what I want to do, they're like, yes, let's go. Like, we don't know how this is getting done, we don't know, you know, how to make this thing come to fruition, but I trust God for the rest of that stuff. But just the fact that they all jumped and said yes immediately without hesitation, it means the world to me. Absolutely made my entire day, and made this journey not feel so lonely, because I have a team, because they believe in me and they want to see me succeed, and I want me to succeed. We'll see. Like I said, we in there. But we gonna do this. It's gonna get done. But what I want to tell you guys is that I welcome any and all to come a part of this journey with me. However, this is not specifically a weight loss journey. I will be losing weight on this thing. I will be more active than I think I have ever been in my entire life on this journey. I will be choosing what foods to eat to better nurture my body on this journey. But it's not solely about weight loss. I don't want people to be in my comments, you know, trying to figure out, like, what am I doing, what am I eating, like, calorie counting. Please don't do that. Please don't do any of that stuff. Not only because that's not what this journey is about for me, but also because there could be people in the comments who do suffer from ED, and that's not what I want this channel to be about. What I want is for people to engage with me on my journey, but also start their own. I want us to foster a community where we give ourselves 6 months, and you can choose something super grandiose, like running a marathon or losing weight. Like, your journey could be to lose weight, or your journey could be to read something every day for 6 months, or finish, 10 books. Like, whatever your journey is for the next 6 months, do it. Stop letting that little voice in the back of your head tell you that you can't do something. So for 6 months, focus. Start small. If you can't think of something big, start small and create a habit and stick with it for 6 months. And let's foster a community where we build each other up, and we cheer on each other, and we support each other when we fail, because I'm gonna fail. I am not going into this thing thinking that I am going to be a Tony Award winning actor. If it happens, thank you, Lord. But that's not the expectation that I'm setting for myself. The expectation I'm setting for myself is to film this piece and to be completely dedicated to this process and film it and chronicle the journey. That's my goal for this piece, for this journey. But like I said, I'm gonna lose weight. That's inevitable. But I don't want to turn into a weight loss channel, because there are more journeys up on the horizon than just merely my weight. But what I will do, I will measure myself and I will weigh myself my day one. And then I will weigh myself and measure myself at the end of the 6 months. And then I'll do a side-by-side comparison, just so we can see like what changes happened to my body in that 6-month period. But like I said, this is not solely a weight loss challenge. So just wanted to put that disclaimer out there. That's it. That's the big announcement. And I'm so excited. I'm leaning into my excitement and less into my terror. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna overcome our fears, and we're gonna achieve our dreams. And I may fail epically, but at least I would have tried. I will be uploading weekly, so you can follow along with my journey. Keep up with me on IG. I think I may start a Twitter. I don't know. But yeah, if I do, I'll pin it down below. And thank you guys so much for staying this long and listen to me explain, my dreams. And I would love it if you guys would comment down below, like, what are your goals for the next 6 months? If you would like, I would love it if you guys would what's the YouTube thing, like, comment, share, and subscribe this, so other people may decide to come aboard and start their own journey. But like I say on this channel, we will get to our destination eventually. But until next time, have safe travels.